What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Canes game review for game number 8 of the season, a 4-3 overtime win for the Carolina Hurricanes. And the story of this game is the Canes were playing a team that has been wildly overachieving this season. Flyers off to a hot start, but they are missing a handful of good players out of their lineup, and obviously their best player is in the most important position, and that is goaltender for them. Carter Hart was phenomenal in this game. Gives up a weak one early on in the first period. Jordan Staal getting his, I think that's his first of the season, isn't it? I believe. Yeah, 1100th game, first of the season for Jordan Staal. A little play off the end boards where he just chips it, kind of a nothing play where just throw it on, see what happens. Kind of drops in between the glove and the pad of Carter Hart. Canes take a 1-0 lead early. And then shortly after that line with Martinook now inserted on the left wing in place of Andre Kasha. And I guess since Paul Stastny kind of got demoted to the fourth line. Puck below the goal line, Jesper Frost gets the puck out to Jordan Martinook in the slot. He fires it past Carter Hart, and the Canes lead 2-0 in the first. And that would pretty much do it. A dominant first period for Carolina. Raanta looked fine in the first period. He didn't face a ton. Certainly nothing really high danger in the first period. And the game really shifted from there on out. Like, Carolina seemingly stopped playing for about the next 30 minutes of this game. The Flyers end up getting on the board Lukas Sedlak, who it's not a name that anybody really knows. He had quite a strong game in this one. He actually beats Jacob Slavin in terms of, in a battle for the puck, gets the puck over to the other end boards. All this happening behind the net. Burns makes a crucial mistake. He actually drops down in order to support Slavin on this play, but he's just too late on it. Puck immediately centered out front to Delorier, all alone the slot. Svechnikov was pretty weak in the corner on his man. Kotkaniemi nowhere near the play on this one. Easy goal for Nick Delorier, his first as a Flyer. And the Flyers are now on the board, and it's not looking like a dominant game anymore. And it doesn't take too much longer after that. What's really been weird about Antti Raanta's 3 games he's played so far this season is it's seemingly every game he's due for a weak goal to be let in, and here comes the weak goal. Play kind of on the half boards. Tippett gets a puck, comes down and just rips one through a 5-hole where Raanta was kind of cheating and didn't really pick it up until very last minute on this one. And it's just a weak one. It's not even really a sneaky shot or anything like that. Ranta's just simply not there. Beats him through the 5-hole, and it's tied up at 2. We enter the third period, and now it just seems like, again, the first 10 minutes of this period, it all seems Flyers. Like, Carolina's really stopped playing, and this is something I highlighted on Twitter, is there's a bit of a disappearing act for it, 2 lines at a time with this team, and I think we saw this quite a bit in the playoffs. That has transitioned into the first few games of this season. Some warning signs there, that's for sure. It's very concerning early on in this season. As we get towards the midway to later portions of this third period, a play that just can't happen here. Wade Allison with the puck. Actually, sorry, it was Sedlak again. As I mentioned, he had a really good game in this one. Sedlak just kind of bodies a defender off like he's not even there and gets this puck across to Wade Allison, who gets it past Raanta it squeaks past Raanta, but it's just a weak goal. The defense in this one wasn't great. So the Flyers now lead 3-2, and this game looks almost like it's over because Carolina just hasn't really generated a ton. There was a point in which they had a couple power plays, got some chances, but all in all, let's talk about Brent Burns for a moment here, because we're going to come back to him later on in this. But Brent Burns was obviously brought in for this team to be throwing pucks at the net, and he's done so throughout his first, 6-7 games in Carolina. But he's also had a bad tendency to fire a puck without traffic in front or directly into a shin pad here and there. He's not being as creative with it. And I think while I'm watching on the other side Tony DeAngelo, not that I would say that it's worth the money to pay Tony DeAngelo what he is making, DeAngelo is at least a little bit more creative with the puck. But nevertheless, a little while later, it just seems like all hope is kind of lost. There's nothing really going on. Martin Necas just comes into the zone all by himself, gets himself some good positioning, and rips a shot past Carter Hart, a perfectly dialed one over the blocker, under the bar, and we're tied 3-3 late in the third. Both teams go pretty conservative, and we go to overtime. And in overtime, it is the Martin H show again. Oh man. Goes in, and I think the broadcast with Trip Tracy and Mike Maniscalco, Trip had it the best here. The way he described it, as he pointed out the exact moment where Natchez in previous years would actually rush the chance, kind of throw it away, and cause maybe a turnover coming down the other way in overtime. Instead, he's incredibly patient with the puck, finds a good outlet, takes his time, finds Aho, who immediately one-touch passes to Burns in the slot, and Brent Burns puts all his weight behind this one. It goes past Carter Hart, perfectly placed, and the Canes win 4-3 in overtime. Now again, I'll say there are concerning elements to the beginning of the season, but this is a grinded out sort of win. And these are the games that Carolina needs to get more used, more familiar to, I should say, in playing. Because these are the kind of wins that you see in the playoffs a lot. And they did that in this game. They were down. They were really playing bad, which this team has to figure out a way to keep momentum going, keep teams from playing their game and taking over games, but a solid example of, grinding out a victory in this one. So I don't think there's really much more to go over for this game. Guys, this was a solid game for Carolina. I thought Philly on the other end was very good as well, despite, missing Couturier, Ellis, and I'm sure there's another player they're missing in their lineup. I thought Philly's structure and everything, the way they play, is actually pretty good. They're probably not going to be as bad as most of us believe they will be. But for Carolina, another kind of test game, and I think I said that after the Islanders won on Friday night. Another test game, and definitely something to build off of going forward. So anyways, that will do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you really like the channel here and want more content. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one.